The big talk is also the fact that between the Dodgers and the Red Sox, there's a lot of traffic now crossing over, as this ultimately results in a JT for a JD. JD Martinez now going to the Dodgers and reportedly taking less money to go to LA, who will be a little more competitive, kind of taking advantage of the fact he'll be reunited with one of his hitting coaches who really put Martinez on the map. But why does this particularly make sense for Turner to Boston and now Martinez out to LA?
Anybody knows JD, you know him about as well as anybody, so take it, it's all yours.
Yeah, well, I mean, JD had a little bit of a down year, last year. He was still hitting well. He just wasn't hitting for as much power as we're used to, seeing JD hit. But, reuniting with Robert, the hitting coach over there in LA, has been his longtime hitting coach, and they know each other really well. JD feels really comfortable with him, and JD also knows that NL West pretty well. Playing with the Diamondbacks for a little bit, had a great half season with Arizona a few years back. So, I would expect same thing with Turner to bring a solidified bat to that lineup. The Dodgers are looking, we're looking for that. Obviously, letting Turner walk a little bit, but I'd expect JD to kind of have a good bounce back year. And still, and provide a little bit more power than he did last year. And the guy's an animal. I mean, he lives right down the street from me in the off season, and I never see him because he's always working out in the cage and just working on his swing. He's just kind of a maniac about hitting, and that's one of the great things about him.
Well, and that's why you wanted him to play with you. I mean, you guys were sharing some uniforms there for a little bit. But what I want to know here, too, is this guy was a doubles machine, and he always has been. But how different is that? Or is it different at all to go from Fenway, where you can kind of run up on that monster a little bit, out to Chavez Ravine?
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of an adjustment. It's a bigger ballpark, more of a pitcher's ballpark in L.A. But listen, when you can hit, you can hit. And maybe he'll start using a little bit more of the field. As good of a ballpark as it is Fenway to hit in, there's also you get a lot of, particularly a guy like JD that likes to drive the ball to the right center field. It's awfully big in that ballpark at Fenway. That bullpen edges out there. So I like the signing, because I think when you get a winning player like him and you get into a winning situation with a team, they're not looking for him to be like leading the team, like to hit fourth in the order, to knock in 125 runs, be the face of the offense. They'd like to have that happen, but I think when you bring a player like him that's bounced around and he knows his way, I just think to bring a veteran bat back in that lineup, I would not be surprised if he doesn't have a really bounce back year in 2023.
Yeah, well, when Houston let him go, I was recruiting him to come to Detroit, right after Houston let him go during spring training. So I'm sure not only Robert, the hitting coach over there, but I'm sure he talked to Mookie quite a bit beforehand. Mookie was probably vying and recruiting him a little bit to go over there in LA, and I think it'll turn out really well for the Dodgers, like you were saying, Dan. It should be a good one.
Well, it's all a big shakeup right now, and we know that there's still some other big names to drop. Maybe none quite as big as obviously those two trading places here. And of course, Dodgers being skipped by the former great Red Sox player himself and Dave Roberts. We're going to have big things from the blue out west this year.